How you doing today? I hope it's amazing. PaulG here, also retired guy. Now, today I want to let's talk about savings, and I'll explain a little bit more later. But I want you to think about for a second, back when I was young, the whole thing that you were brought up on was what your parents were doing, which was the fact of, you go to school, you get good grades, and you had two choices. You either go into the military or you go into college. Or, I guess there is three, you get a job. And your job's not going to be a real great job. It's going to be kind of a labor's job. And you do that. Now, as life goes on, you end up finding a woman, you have children, you buy a house, you raise your kids, you get old, you retire, and life is just a bowl of cherries. Yeah. And that's was a good life for my parents because that's what they did. And it worked out amazing for them. Now, for me, I didn't do it quite like that. Like, for example, I went to school. I had average grades. I wasn't super smart as far as schoolwork was concerned, but then again, I didn't apply myself either. I don't know that I opened a book much, but I still got passing grades. Then after that, I went into the workforce because I didn't really want to go to college, and Vietnam was going strong back then, so I didn't really want to go into the military either. And luckily, I did not get drafted, so I didn't have to go. Back then, there was a draft, and if your number was low enough, you were going to the military. It is what it is. You don't have a way out. So, anyway, I did that, and I worked at various jobs growing up, and it was hard to save money because I had quite a few kids at the time when I first started growing up, so to speak, in my 20s. I had uh, three kids already. And it wasn't the best. And I was married. That didn't last long for whatever reason. Not going to get into that. We went our separate ways, and I started paying child support. Later on, I ended up getting custody of the kids. Doesn't matter. That's not the point I'm trying to make. There's a savings that we tried to do, but it was hard because feeding all the kids was tough. You had to have a lot of money just to feed those kids. Well, then I got remarried to an amazing lady, and she had two kids. So both of us were working, sometimes two, sometimes three jobs just to feed these kids. And I wasn't saving shit because I was taking everything I had just to pour into clothes and food and shelter, that kind of thing. And my wife's father gave us both actually some information that stuck with us. And that was just keep doing what you're doing because later on in life, those kids are going to leave. And as they leave, you will make more and more money. That is, in fact, true. And as it worked out, it did do that. We were able to move to a different state. I went to Arizona, got an amazing job as a network engineer. Had to go back to school to get that. Doesn't matter how, we can discuss that some other time. Anyway, I was making amazing money back then, like close to six figures to begin with, almost three times what I was making before when I still had the kids at home. Now, if you take that extra money, we lived just like we were living back then. We didn't spend a whole lot of money. We didn't go out to eat a lot. And consequently, we saved a lot of money. And so when I could make a 401k, I put everything I could put into it. Plus, we would put into another savings, maybe a certain amount of money every so often, like every 3 weeks, every 6 weeks, something like that. And it grew and it grew and it grew and it grew. And in time, when it was time to retire, I was forced into retirement, but it was okay because I had some savings. Now, that's it in a nutshell. But I want to talk about you guys. There's a lot of people now that are younger than me, but older than some of the younger kids. Like, let's say in your late, early 50s. Let's just say that, maybe even late 50s. And they're thinking about retirement and they're thinking, wow, they don't have anything in savings. But they got some nice cars, they got a nice house, they do whatever they want to do, eat wherever they want to go, take a lot of vacations, but they don't have any money in savings, or they have, let's say, 50 grand in savings. And just so you know, when you retire, you don't make nothing when it comes to Social Security. Like, I was making six figures at the end, and I'm doing lucky. I think I started somewhere in the neighborhood of about 1,600 a month on Social Security. Yeah, try living on that. Pretty tough, right? And all I'm saying is you need to think about that as time goes on. And if you're younger, there's more opportunities coming out with making money online. And there's people that make a lot of money working online. And online is probably the place to go anymore because a lot of people, even if they have jobs, they're working online, right? They're maybe working for a company, but they work at home. So therefore, they're working online. And there's a lot of opportunities to work online and make really good money. So I'll tell you what, a little bit later on, not today, because this has been going long enough to give you an idea of how retirement will suck for probably your grandparents if they didn't save anything. It's going to suck for your parents if they're getting close to retirement or thinking about retirement and they don't have much of a savings. And I don't want to talk about you because you're going to be different. You're going to be better. You're going to think about it and you're going to go a different way over time. Now, I don't want to say that, your parents did it wrong. Or they did what they had to do when they had to do it, just like I did. And it just worked out for me. I kept my nose to the grindstone, so to speak, and just kept going. That's what I do. So just think about savings, think about online. There's a lot of avenues to that. I've seen a bunch and done a bunch, and it's helped me out a lot. But tell you what, I'm going to leave you with that one. We may go into a little bit more later, but you have an amazing day, and we'll talk later. Bye.